Hello and welcome to the Codex Prime podcast. We are on episode 101 and it is Tuesday, December 5th, 2017. I am your host, Victor Omoyo, and with me as always is my co-host and social media chair, Carl Bird.
What up, y'all?
Yes, this is the post episode 100 road and it has begun. 100 episodes in the can. Can you believe it?
Yeah, man. Shout outs to everybody who came out. Nah, it was one hell of that was a good time.
It absolutely was, man. It was great. Shout outs to Reagan Hurst for allowing us to do episode 100 at Rock Coco's. And big shouts to all the guests who came through. Steven, Paul DeFilippo, Jim Savard.
Edmund Afton.
Yep.
Morgan.
Yep. Yeah, man, and everyone who chimed in on the group chat. Yes, thank you all. It's been a pleasure doing this podcast for 100 episodes straight, and we hope to provide more of that hot nerd goodness and magic and wonderfulness. And
we'll indeed do so.
Yes, and
we ain't stopping. There's a lot of good things happening. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. You know, there's so much nerd culture goodness, man. You know, just too much great movies, great comics, books, TV shows, wrestling, even sports ball. But
here he goes.
Yeah, but you know,
bougie.
I'm not bougie. I mean, I forget. I don't.
Sports ball, foosball,
foosball. That's from
Waterboy.
Yeah.
Let me guess, you hated that movie too?
You know, I don't think I've seen The Waterboy.
Oh, Waterboy's a classic.
Okay, that was an Adam Sandler's good period, right? The 90s.
Yeah, Big Show was in that movie too.
Oh wow,
Captain Insano.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'll maybe track down a copy if I'm feeling nostalgic for the '90s. But yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff to get into today. Tonight we've got The Punisher on Netflix. We're finally gonna dig into that. We were gonna dig into it last week, but
yeah, no Easter eggs this week though. I just did not have the time to get that. It's been a busy weekend for me. Busy weekend.
Indeed. Yeah, I hear that, man. You know, it's I've been trying to catch up on a few things on my end as well for like work stuff, but yeah, man. Punisher, we're gonna be digging into that as our main topic, spoiler-filled review. It's been out for 2 weeks, so if you haven't seen it by now, then well, you know, you need to get on that ball. Beyond that, we'll begin as we always do with what we've been up to. And on that note, Carl, speak to the people. What have you been up to this past week besides being mad busy?
No, Afton just said no spoilers. Yeah, you may have to mute this one, man.
Yeah.
I actually, one of my Black Friday purchases was Knack 2, which is a game developed by Sony Interactive, the sequel to, obviously, the first Knack 1. Yep. Excuse me for not facing the camera. I'm sharing the episode.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a nice little fun family platform. Like, I don't expect you to like it because you don't like platforms like that.
No, I like platformers. I just don't play them often, as much as I used to.
Yeah, I really don't hear you, like, mentioning them at all. I mean, you hate Sonic. Yeah, well, you say you're cool with Mario.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But, yeah. Did you like Crash Bandicoot?
I haven't played too much of it because I didn't have a PS1, but I liked what I played.
Yeah, I would say it's long enough. You get that Crash Bandicoot feel on it. I say go for it. I mean, it's nothing major if you don't. Like, I'm not saying, oh my God, you should play it. It's the greatest game. No, it's just a fun little platform.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I heard that the first Knack was known for its difficulty. Was it a difficult game?
No, I beat that one. I beat that one a couple of times, with no problem at all.
Huh.
And this one's just the same.
Okay. It must have been the reviewer that had a tough time playing it.
Although I did run into a bug, like it was aggravating the hell out of me. Like I had to call Sony customer service like a couple of times where there was this one part in I think it was like chapter 2. Yeah, about chapter 2, where there was just a game bug where you would enter a tunnel and then you come into an arena and you're supposed to fight these robots. but they're just standing there and you're fighting them off. You're destroying them, but they're not fighting back.
Okay.
And then you're just stuck there.
Oh yeah, it's like a game breaking.
Yeah, so I'm saying I had to turn the PlayStation off, go into safe mode. I'm getting all scared because I feel like I'm afraid I'm gonna delete all my stuff and I have to download all my apps again.
Yeah.
But all I really had to do was just start a new game, and I just went through it like it was nothing.
Nice. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Anything else?
I DJ'd a party on Saturday after the Codex 100, and that was it.
Okay, so you play that trap music?
No, and oh my god, I'm about to go into a rant. One thing I remember. Okay, I remember we was having that conversation after the 100 where I was telling you I was DJing.
Yeah.
And I was telling, I broke down some of the things that people do when you're DJing at parties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they pretty much did everything.
Okay.
Mainly it was just requests.
Yeah.
DJs hate requests. We work hard on our sets, and then you come up with them. Oh yes, I did beat the game, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we like you try to please everybody, and it's just so many multiple personalities in the room. Like just let the DJ do his thing. It's like one person get mad at me because I'm not playing enough old school, then I'm not playing enough new school, then they want reggae, then they want salsa, then bachata. It was just too much. It got way too overwhelming.
Yeah.
I still did what I did what I could, but everybody was not being pleased.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a lot of people misunderstand the art of DJing. Like
Yeah, they clearly don't. They literally look at DJs as like your personal iPod.
Yeah.
Like your personal iPod. Like I DJ'd my sister's party, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And like a lot of people, do you have any Afrobeat? And I'm just like, no. No, yeah, I'm the only person I was taking requests from was from my sister. Mm-hmm. It was her party. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I think that if it's a person's party, then they're the only one who has the right to make a request.
I would say so. And then she didn't really care most of the time. She was just like, and I told her, I was like, listen, I know we're amongst a whole bunch of church folk, but I'm playing some music with swearing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, she didn't care. Yeah, she didn't care. So.
Oh yeah, church people get down like probably way worse than other people.
Nah. And my mom's a pastor too, and of course she was there, but
yeah,
she was alright. But she knew.
Now, did you play all the line dancing hits that you love so much?
I hate those line dancing songs so much. I hate them all. I'm Victor Vader on this one when it comes to the line dances. I hate the cha-cha slide, Cupid shuffle, electric slide. I hate them all.
Yeah, the chicken dance.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it is.
That is the worst.
Oh,
but I didn't play none of those.
Okay. Nice.
So, yeah, but other than beating Knack 2, yeah, that's pretty much all I've been up to. And then plus, Codex 100.
Yep. Indeed.
Yeah. Oh, and, wow, I can't believe we just talked about this before we went on air. The latest episode of The Secret History of Comics.
Yes.
And it was, good. It's something we could talk about together while I do this.
Yeah.
It was the main focus was Milestone Comics, which is a black-owned division of DC Comics, and that was pretty dominant during. Well, I wouldn't say dominant, but it was pretty successful during the '90s, and it pretty much consisted of all black superheroes.
Yep.
And a lot of details I missed because I watched it at work, but I mean, I'm really interested in actually going back. And remember, I'm not a DC guy. I probably own one DC comic, maybe 2 or 3, like very few.
Yeah.
Compared to how many issues of how many Rebirth or New 52 trade paperbacks you own.
Yeah.
But what up, firm? But I was really intrigued, and not to mention they did go in because a lot of the writers and artists they did get their starts in Marvel, so they got to highlights Luke Cage, Black Panther, and how they came about, and how black comics were portrayed before them. Dragonfall Fighters next month. You guys hear about it? Yes, I'm ready.
No,
I'll be in time. I'll be ready in time for Freddy Cup.
I can't wait to hear your review of DBZ Fighters on the podcast.
Yep, it's gonna have Goku, Gohan, and everybody else.
And there's your review.
The one called the one DC comic you need to read, The New Frontier, Part 1 and 2. Otherwise, go with Batman: The Long Halloween. I'll take those in. It's Batman. I'll take into consideration.
Yeah, Long Halloween is excellent. That was actually one of the main inspirations for The Dark Knight.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually mentioned that. They mentioned that last week's episode, the 9/11 one, which I would highly recommend anybody reads. And shout outs to our friend Paul Jenkins who was in that episode.
Yep.
But back to Milestone. But yeah, Static Shock was a Milestone comic.
Yep.
Then they had Icon, who was like I guess you could say he was like their Superman.
Yeah.
And his little sidekick Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one who was like it was like their version of Iron Man, but the name escapes me right. The name escapes me right now. You caught it, right?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time recalling the name myself, but I do remember their superhero group called the Blood Syndicate.
Yeah, I'm really interested in actually going back and adding some more to my reading list, which I already have too much as it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that episode was really cool too. Like, you see the creators, Dennis Cowan and Derek Dingle.
Yeah,
they link up with Michael Davis and the late Dwayne McDuffie.
Yeah, I felt so sad when they mentioned that he passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, he's in the show. Like, how long ago did he die? But then I guess they must have used archival footage.
Yeah.
For it. So, if you're not watching Secret History of Comics, I highly recommend that you do.
Yeah, you learn a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, next week's the last episode.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna highlight The Walking Dead.
Okay, that makes sense. Robert Kirkman.
Yeah. Of course, he's gonna put his own. But hopefully, it was good 6 episodes? Not even.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's into comic books, I highly recommend that you watch the show.
Mm. And plus, like, I like the fact that the creators of Milestone Comics, like, they came back in recent years, like just like even a couple of years ago. There was footage from the San Diego Comic-Con 2015.
Yeah,
and they were saying that they're actually on the verge of coming back. I think
they actually are back. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They have like some new stuff published.
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting because like back in the 90s when there were no black superheroes like from like black artists, like they were the first ones to come out and actually create their own stuff. Yeah. And it's like they were in a way they were kind of ahead of their time. And now
I would say that too. And they were actually like pushing the envelope as well. Like there was one issue that caused a lot of controversy where there was actually a couple where Rocket, which was Icon's sidekick, where she's a 14-year-old girl and she got pregnant.
Yeah.
So they dealt with teen pregnancy, and then there was another one with teen sex with Static Shock and his girlfriend, like kissing on the cover, and then they made a big deal about it because the condom was on the cover.
Yeah, like they had like he was carrying like wrapped condoms.
Yeah. So like, I mean, yeah. They was pushing the envelope. I really would love to find them. Reagan, if you're listening, I got some work for you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I would love to dig up the old issues. Maybe they're publishing like a collected like trade paperbacks, and I'd love to like go through them.
Yeah, maybe even a compendium.
Yeah, especially some of their new stuff that's coming out now, because it's like they were ahead of their time in the 90s, but now they're like within their time, just like when diverse heroes and characters are on the come up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like it's funny and how everything comes full circle. But yeah, that's awesome. And also like watching that episode, it's like, man, I want to create my own stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I have some ideas.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put them out there
yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, and plus I like the fact that they had like this whole thing that they call a Dakota verse, where it's like their Milestone Comics.
Yeah, they had their own universe.
Yeah, like Milestone Comics took place in this like fictional town or city called Dakota, and like they had like all the backstories of all their heroes and where they came from.
Now,
all the arcs.
Was Black Lightning in that universe?
I don't think so. I think Black Lightning's entirely separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Why is Black Lightning getting a show and not Static Shock? Static Shock was way more popular.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me ask you. Have you heard of Black Lightning before they mentioned it? Before he got the show?
Nope.
Me neither.
Nah. I'm thinking maybe Black Lightning's like a completely original character for TV. Maybe that's why. I could be wrong, but I'll look into it.
John Apana, you're the DC head. Tell us.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out that episode if you can. Secret History of Comics, Milestone Comics. That's a really good and insightful episode for sure.
Actually, there has not been a bad episode since.
Yeah, I've only seen two. That one and the Wonder Woman.
Okay. Figures.
Yeah,
Figures. The 9/11 one was really good, though.
yeah, I do want to see it too. Maybe if I'll find a way to watch the old episodes. Like,
Yeah, I think they're on demand. Unfortunately, they're not on Hulu.
yeah,
But yeah, I think you can find them like on AMC.com.
mm-hmm.
I think they have an on-demand service as well.
Okay, yeah, I'll check it out when I can.
But that's all I've been up to.
Yeah, all
What's
right.
going on your end?
Well, I've been catching up on a bunch of trade paperbacks, some graphic novels. I will say DC Comics is killing it with their Rebirth line ever since it launched last year. Like everything that I've read so far from them has been rock solid.
Really?
Like
Yeah, I see a little pile. I see a little pile right there. Go on.
yeah,
Go on.
consistently good. And I do have a stack of some graphic novels that I would like to show that I've been reading, that I've read. First off, which starts it all, which is the DC Universe Rebirth, the deluxe edition. This is the book which kicks off the entire Rebirth line, which is the successor to the New 52 line from DC. And it's basically where Wally West, he's trapped in the Speed Force out of space and time, and he figures out that some mysterious force or entity is removing 10 years out of the lives of all of the DC heroes like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. And he's trying to figure out why and for what purpose. And the twist is well known. I won't really spoil it for those who don't know it, but it does involve a key Alan Moore series for the characters from that series, and it's definitely a really interesting prologue. And also, I've read some other comics too, which are also awesome on the DC line. I read Volume 1 of The Flash, Lightning Strikes Twice, which follows Barry Allen. And this one is really interesting in that it takes place in Central City, where there's like this huge speed force storm, which is caused by some scientists, some mad scientists, or so it seems. And it's basically where everybody in Central City gets the speed force. Everybody has the Flash's powers. And so like ordinary citizens, even like young and old, can actually run fast like the Flash can. And so it's up to Wally West or Barry Allen to figure out what's going on. And what's interesting too is that there's two Wally Wests in his universe. There's the Wally West of Barry Allen's universe in the Rebirth, which is his this young black kid, and there's the old Wally West from the New 52 from Flashpoint, who's Kid Flash, and it's pretty awesome, man. Like this is a pretty incredible book collection. And I will definitely catch up on volumes 2 and 3 and the rest of them on trade paperback form. So Flash,
Kyle, what is it that you're looking for? He's asking where you find it, but with the delay and everything.
oh, where do I find the paperbacks?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for him to respond.
Yeah, the paperbacks I actually ordered online, and there was like some deal going on with Barnes and Noble.
I was just getting ready to ask you that.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble has a deal from now until January 16th, where you can actually go on their website and buy 2 graphic novels and get one free from Marvel and DC.
Now, is it just online only, or is it store?
Oh, you can
in store as well.
You can do it in store as well.
I actually prefer. I'm probably the only person in the world who still likes going in the store.
Well, I do too, but online, for Barnes and Noble, online is cheaper, so you get a little bit off the
DC book, yeah.
Yeah, you get a little bit off the list price. So I was able to catch up on some really good stuff. So The Flash is one I recommend. Wonder Woman, which I've mentioned, of course. This is Year One, which retells the origin story in the Rebirth edition of Wonder Woman's origin story with her and Steve Trevor, as well as her arch nemesis, the Cheetah, who has a very interesting and yet somewhat heartbreaking story as well, which is worth getting into. One series which is pretty dope is Green Arrow, and this one is Volume 1, The Death and Life of Oliver Queen, and this one is pretty fantastic. I can't wait to read Volumes 2 and 3, which I have in my collection, And this one kind of delves into Green Arrow's his whole stance of being a social justice warrior in the truest sense of the word, where he's all about literal social justice in real life, fighting crime and helping the downtrodden. But what I like about this is that his relationship with Black Canary, who calls him out for being this wealthy and privileged white dude who believes that the biggest solution to combating poverty is throwing money at the problem, and she kind of gets him to see that there's way more to it than just throwing money at the issue, and being an expert archer.
Yeah.
So this is a really good series. I recommend not watching, but reading Green Arrow, and of course there's also two more. Batman, the DC Rebirth edition. Volume 1 is I Am Gotham, where Batman deals with two superpowered beings in Gotham City who names himself Gotham and Gotham Girl, and he figures out, okay, what am I going to do? And how can I be Gotham City's protector when you have two people with superpowers and they're doing the job for me? Probably easier, making my job easier. So he kind of has to deal with maybe perhaps he's obsolete or not. Well, he can't be obsolete because he's Batman. Obsolete, deleted, yes. Oh, I'll get into that in a second.
I'm missing it, but go ahead.
Yes, and last but not least, surprisingly, another good DC Rebirth title is Superman. Volume 1, Son of Superman, and for those who have watched us on the podcast, know that it's hard for me to get into Superman, for various reasons.
Because he's too perfect. He's
too
perfect. So he's a god amongst men.
A god amongst men. It's like when he literally has only two weaknesses, kryptonite and magic. It's like, well, how do you pay attention?
What was the other person that could beat him? It was like the little
Mr. Mixexpilic?
Something like that.
Yes.
There's like no vowels in that name.
Yeah, there really aren't. Mr. Magic Dwarf. But
yeah.
Yeah, so but this one's interesting because this deals with apparently the death of the New 52 Superman, who was killed by Doomsday, and so the other Superman, which is the main hero of this line of the Rebirth line, he's actually married to Lois Lane, and they have a son, Jonathan Kent,
named after his father.
Yep, and they're living in Smallville in a farm, and they're trying to keep on the low. And Superman is trying to deal with the fact that he did watch the New 52 Superman die, and now he's trying to continue that Superman's example, of being a hero. But while he's trying to protect his family, the Eradicator, who's like this basically Terminator Superman, emerges and tries to go after him and his family.
What I saw in the back?
Yeah, Eradicator. Yep. And
I don't wanna lose your spot.
yeah, but I'm halfway through it, but I really like what I'm reading so far, and the artwork is great too.
Yeah, I started reading too. Punisher versus Deadpool.
Oh, how is that?
Too early. I only got like one issue in, so once I finish it, it's a 5 series. I only got the first 4. So once I finish that, I think number 5's coming out real soon.
Okay.
So once I finish that, then I'll give a much better review.
All right, nice. So yeah, that's the rundown for what I've been reading so far for the DC Rebirth line. Like I said, for those who are comics fans or DC fans in general, or even Marvel fans, definitely check out the DC Rebirth line because it's consistent quality across the board. And I do want to get into some of their other series, which I hear are fantastic, like Deathstroke and Green Lantern. Yeah, I hear those are great, so I'll check those out when I can.
Right.
Yeah, so besides that, I've also watched a fantastic movie this past weekend from Pixar, Disney Pixar.
You actually made time to do that?
Yes, I did. On Sunday.
Okay, you weren't doing that.
Yeah, I watched Pixar's latest film, Coco, which is a fantastic film. And this
you didn't
one,
cry, did you?
I'll get into that.
God damn it, Vic!
I'll get into that in a second.
Damn.
This movie, it's latest in Pixar's line. It stars Anthony Gonzalez as this 12-year-old boy named Miguel Rivera, and he's living in Mexico, and his family's preparing for the Day of the Dead. And growing up, he's a kid who wants to be a singer, just like his great-great-grandfather, who's known as Ernesto de la Cruz. But apparently, his great-great-grandfather, decided to pursue music at the expense of his family. He just, left them, to fend for themselves. So he's a deadbeat dad. And so his great-great-grandmother decides to shun music from their family altogether. No more music. And so she passes down her animus, her great grandmother passes down her hatred of music from generation to generation, and so they all grow up to be shoemakers. So that's the family business, and so they want Miguel to become another shoemaker, but he's into music, and so like he watches Ernesto de la Cruz's movies in his secret room, and he practices his guitar songs, and then one day he finds himself transported into the land of the dead, where all the people's relatives and ancestors come out, and he's trying to find his way to escape the land of the dead to go back to the real world. And it's a touching film. I absolutely love this film, and this film is strikingly gorgeous. Like Pixar is to say that it goes without saying for a Pixar production, but like the use of colors, the oranges and the purples, especially in the land of the dead, the details on some of the characters, like the texture work, like you see all the skeletons, the bones of all the dead figures in the land of the dead, and you see like the little creases and little like indents and like designs in their skulls. It's pretty fantastic. And also the vocal performances are great. You have Gael Garcia Bernal, one of Mexico's well-known actors. He plays Hector, who's this sort of like this kind of screw up who functions as Miguel's guide through the land of the dead. Mm-hmm. And Benjamin Bratt plays Ernesto de la Cruz, his great grandfather. And the film also has a great soundtrack. I love the sense of culture. The loving detail that they put into depicting Mexican culture and land of the dead, and also the alebrijes, the spirit animals, the colorful spirit animals that help guide the dead as well. And the score by Michael Giacchino was fantastic, very very well done. And yes, this film hit me like a freight train, because towards the end of the film, I was trying to fight back tears, but I could not. All of a sudden, whoosh, a waterfall of tears just cascaded down my face. I was just a mess.
Is it so sensitive?
I was, listen, it's easy to see. When you watch Coco, it's easy to see why. Like, I could not, I was inconsolable. I was crying in my seat, just silently, just like I had a hard lump in my throat. I was just choking back tears. I was just inconsolable, man, because like the end of the last segment of the film just really hits you in the heart. And man, Pixar is so expert at tugging at your heartstrings, and it's earned too. It's
they're experts at tugging at your heartstrings.
No, like not just me. Like there were a lot of people crying in my screening, and mind you, there were a lot of kids there with their parents, and I heard a few of them sniffling too, and it's easy to see why.
Cool.
Like, shut up. I mean, like it's powerful stuff, and it's earned. It's not cheap sentimentality. Like, it's legitimately earned. It's the same way I felt like in Finding Dory, Up, even Inside Out to a certain extent. Like, Pixar knows how to tug at the heartstrings in a smart way that it's earned, and Coco is no exception. Like, if you watch this movie, which I absolutely recommend, because it's one of the best films of the year, and also one of Pixar's very best. I put it in my top 5.
Really?
Yeah, it's in my top 5 Pixar films, and
we got a top 5 coming up soon.
Yeah, and
probably isn't next week?
Maybe next week.
Well, the week after that, Star Wars.
Yeah, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, but yeah, for those who are Pixar fans of animation, please check out Coco. Well worth your time. However, the biggest problem I had with my screening of Coco has nothing to do with the film itself. It has nothing to do with Pixar, but it has everything to do with Disney. Because you know how in every Pixar film, like, they show like a little short film before their films. Well, apparently Pixar didn't produce a short film for Coco So what we had instead was a 22-minute long Frozen short film. It wasn't even a short film. It was like a 22. It was like a 22-minute episode, TV episode before Coco. So you factor that in along with the trailers, which was like 10 minutes. It was like a good 30 to 40-minute wait before the movie started. And mind you, the Frozen short was not even that good.
I've watched Frozen, just never really paid too much attention to it. But
Frozen's a fine film. I mean,
sure it is.
It is, but like the short that came before it was way too long, and like there were kids who were getting mad restless in the theater, and I couldn't blame them. Like, in fact, there was like this one little girl like sitting behind me with her mom. She's like, "Mom, where's Coco?" And like 3 minutes later, "Mom, where's Coco? How come we're not seeing Coco?" And it's like, I don't blame you, kid, because the short went way too long. The song sucked, and man, Disney should have known better. They should not have put a 22-minute long film right before their main one.
Well, Frozen was like highly successful, so I guess it's just a way for them to try to milk it out. Just trying to milk out that success for as long as they can.
Absolutely, I think that's their way to do that. And plus, actually, there were so many complaints that Disney's actually pulling that Disney Frozen short film from their screenings of Coco starting this Friday. So if you go to see Coco this Friday, you might not see that Frozen short film before.
I ain't going to the movies till Star Wars. So.
Yeah, whatever. But
just saying.
Yeah, but
is this something that's worth it?
there are plenty of movies that are worth it that I reviewed. Well, didn't have a chance to review. But
right, I just don't plan on going to the movies until Star Wars.
Sure, that's you. Right. That's you. But yeah, that aside, Coco deserves your utmost attention. One of the best films of the year. I love it, and please bring a box of tissues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Indeed. Yeah, it's a great film, man. I'm
not knocking it.
Mind you, I rarely cry in movies.
Don't you start with that shit.
No, I rarely cry.
Don't you start with that shit.
I can tell you the last time I cried in a movie was Creed. And before that, it was
Finding Dory.
Finding Dory, yeah.
Finding Dory came out after Creed, though.
Yeah, that was last summer.
All right, then Creed was the last one.
Right. Creed. And before that, it was 12 Years a Slave, for obvious reasons.
I still haven't seen that.
Oh, you should.
I've been wanting to. Like, it's on, I think it's on HBO Go. No, HBO Now, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it. I believe it still is. It's like, okay, fine. When I finally get a chance to rest, I know I'm going to fall asleep, and that's just a movie I don't want to fall asleep on.
You really don't.
So I'm just not going to, I'm going to try to find some time when I'm actually, up, got some energy, don't want to play video games, but want to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Then
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a film that deserves your utmost attention.
Yeah. By the way, you ever played Injustice 2?
I have not.
Very good game.
Yeah,
I beat it. It was actually one of my Black Friday purchases. GameStop had it for $14.
Oh, that's a great deal.
That was a steal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knack 2 was like 20, but that was at Walmart. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to get that for 20.
Really?
Yeah, because I went the Saturday, the Saturday after Black Friday, so they were already starting. It was like Saturday, Sunday, one of those days, and they were already starting to bring everything back up to their regular prices.
Yeah.
But then they still had that display where it was like, I think NBA 2K18 was $30 or whatever, and then I saw Knack 2, and I'm like, Knack 2's only 20. Sure, why not? So I'm ringing it up. So they're ringing it up, and then ringing it as the regular price of $40, which was the usual retail price for that game.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait, nope, it was still on display. And then, of course, the manager came in. She goes, yep, it still was. You're actually supposed to, and saying we were actually supposed to do that, bring the prices up. So they gave it to me for $20.
Nice.
And I got the first Knack for free because it came with my PlayStation. So I'm like, I'm okay with that.
There you go. Get those good deals when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, one real quick thing. I did catch a glimpse of Monday Night Raw yesterday, and I was very happy to see the return of broken Matt Hardy.
It actually happened. I knew last week it was a little tease of it.
Yeah. It's actually full on. They're calling him Awoken Matt Hardy, but it's the same character.
Yeah.
Because apparently Matt Hardy finally got the full rights back from TNA Impact. So the character is his, but for WWE, so they can make money, they're just calling it Awoken. But pretty much everything is the same. Yeah, so that way Matt Hardy, should he leave the company, he can still use the broken gimmick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and plus he created it, so that's pretty smart. Yeah. But yeah, like it was really cool because like Bray Wyatt came on and he was delivering his usual sermon. You know, all sound and fury signifying nothing, and then like it would intercut between Bray Wyatt, and then it would cut to Matt Hardy, and he said, "Yes, I am back through space and time," and then he's like, I will subject you to deletion." Yeah,
lost their shit, didn't they?
Yes, you could hear the crowd popped so hard for Matt Hardy, and I was like, I stood up in my seat, I was marking out, I was like, yes. I even tweeted it on my Twitter feed.
My thing is, let's just do something right with it.
Yeah,
Let the corporate machine, the creative machine. Let's just please do something right with it.
I agree. I hope.
It can mention they can bring in Brother Nero as well.
Yep. Yeah. Once Jeff Hardy recovers from his injury,
he was at Starcade.
Oh yeah. The house show.
Yeah, him, New Day, and the Rock and Roll Express was twerking and delivering. I don't know why that popped up in my Facebook timeline.
Okay.
But it did.
Huh.
I was like, God damn it.
All right.
Oh well. Starcade should have been televised.
Yeah, but they treated it like just another house show, which kind of stunk.
That really did.
Yeah, but yes, I'm very happy to see Matt Hardy in the broken gimmick or awoken gimmick. But I do hope that Vince will let Matt Hardy fly, and not put his Vince McMahon isms all over it, or rather the Vince McMahon isms over it, as Matt Hardy would say. So I'm looking forward to it, and maybe this will give Bray Wyatt a little bit more new life, and so he can eat that pin, another pin from Matt Hardy this time.
He's a heel. He's a transitional heel.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing. Bray Wyatt could be so much more, but
definitely.
But he's booked as a jobber to the stars with great mic skills.
Yeah.
And it sucks to say that, but don't blame me. Blame the booking. And I will say, the opening match of Raw with Jason Jordan, who's becoming more of a dickhead heel.
I like it though.
I like it too.
Cool, because you know what? He's getting some type of shine.
He is.
He's very talented. He just needed something to project him.
Yeah, I agree. It's like the management knows that the fans are turning on him hard as a white meat babyface. Yeah. So they're letting him lean into that so he can own up to that. And
he's actually not doing a bad job.
He's not. Yeah, he's being like this smarmy, emotionally manipulative heel. He's like, I'm your son, Kirk. You're the son that you abandoned or something. Yeah. And he had a very good contest with Roman Reigns.
I had that with my father. I use it too.
Shit, hey, why not? But yeah, he had a very good match with Roman Reigns at the beginning. So
yeah, it was actually. I caught the first hour of Raw, which pretty much, other than that, wasn't much. But
yeah, so yeah, I'm glad that we're seeing Jason Jordan progress, earn his heel stripes, and hopefully we'll see more of the awoken universe in the WWE.
So if you think about it, Kurt Angle was the same way.
Was he?
Yeah, Kurt Angle started off as a heel.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
Like an obnoxious, like what was supposed to be babyface, but everybody was just kind of like, the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But he just played it so well to work as a heel.
Yeah, my three eyes.
Yes.
Intensity, integrity, intelligence. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
It was before he started saying damn.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was like purebred, and then damn true, when he started adding damn to it, just came later on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like he would drink milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we're starting to see some positive things at the very least. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, and we've got some news and other items of interest this week. First off, we have the full trailer for the Batman Ninja anime. I
still have to see that, and I'm highly pissed off at myself. Like I know I posted it, I'm like, oh shit, Batman Ninja trailer.
Yeah.
Let me post it. I'll look at it later, and then I think I posted it on. It was like Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
Both busy days. Jesus Christ, I need a rest.
Yeah, it's I am looking forward to this. Like DC animation is pretty consistent with their quality.
They are.
This is one in which I just might add to my collection because it looks that good.
I still need to get to Killing Joke. I went to the theater, saw it, and had a good time.
All right. But this one, the animation is superb, and I think it's from one of the creators of Afro Samurai. And there's a couple of artists who did some well-known animation, Japanese animes. I forget, but what they are. But yeah, the animation looks superb. Batman in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
The Joker, who looks kind of like a Shimigami.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a Ryuk from Death Note, kind of, but more twisted, if that's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, because he's a Joker.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks incredible, and it's coming out early next year. So
Oh, okay.
I will definitely, definitely.
Straight to like DVD and stuff.
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DVD and Blu-ray, just like the other DC animated films. So I'll check it out for sure. And you can find the trailer on our Codex Prime Facebook page.
Yeah.
Another thing that I
Plug.
yeah. Yes, nice plug indeed. Another thing that I found really interesting, and this is for people who saw the film Get Out earlier this year, directed by Jordan Peele. Vanity Fair posted a video, which is a featurette with Jordan Peele, and it's called "Jordan Peele Breaks Down Get Out Fan Theories" from Reddit. And so this is a Vanity Fair video where Jordan Peele is actually breaking down some interesting fan theories that he came across in regards to his awesome movie Get Out. And I won't get into any spoilers or whatnot, but some of the ones that I read were really interesting, and I thought that that actually is plausible. Like one of the interesting elements of Get Out was the fact that you know how the grandfather, like he's like the big groundskeeper. I think his name's Walter or something. He's like running all around the yard randomly.
Oh yeah. Was it Walter?
I forget his name. It must be Walter. I know it begins with a W. If I remember.
Yeah, it does
right.
begin with a W. Let's go with Walter.
Yeah, like
I'll Google it. I'll look it up right now.
yeah. There's a scene where like Daniel Kaluuya's character Chris, he's smoking in the backyard because he can't sleep, and in the dead of night he sees like Walter, the groundskeeper, running towards him, and then like he just like zips by, and apparently that's because he's trying because like the Rose, his white girlfriend, her grandfather was so obsessed with beating Jesse Owens' time in the Olympics that he's using this black body, this black vessel that he took over in order to beat his time. And so like that was one observation that they kind of talked about in the film where that's why he runs so much. And also if you notice where in the film where all the guests are coming in on the Armitage's property to their house, they all arrive in black limousines, and they all come out and they actually are greeted by the groundskeeper. And it's like, why would the groundskeeper greet all these old rich white folks? Well, it's because that it's actually his party. Because remind you, it's the grandfather whose brain is transplanted in this black body, and so it's his party. So like he's like the visual symbol of, yes, like I've transcended my whiteness and I'm in this blackness, which I'm going to co-opt and take over. And it worked for me. It can work for you all. So it's like very twisted and effed up in that measure.
It was Walter.
Yep, it was Walter. And also like the black limousines is like also a subtle foreshadowing. It's like they're arriving in these black vessels, which they plan to ride away with in the form of black human beings. And also, one of the other fan theories that Jordan Peele debunked in the Vanity Fair video was a fan theory going around that the whole movie was a fever dream of Little Rel Howery's character.
Yeah.
Like he's just like his wild imaginings of like, oh my God, what's the worst case scenario if Chris is in the suburbs, you know, all alone as the only black dude, and like that's why like at the end where his character saves Chris at the end. He's imagining himself being the hero.
TSA motherfucker.
Yep. TS motherfucking A. We run shit. No, we handle shit.
Little Rel Howery like owns a piece of that movie.
Oh, he does?
Like he bought it's like I guess it's like he bought like a share of that movie in like all its earnings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty smart.
Not thinking that it was gonna succeed as well as it did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it did.
Hey, smart. Yeah. And yeah, that fan theory was debunked by Jordan Peele. It said that the movie is It's not a
It's not
real
real,
story.
but it's real.
Yeah, it's real. It actually happened to these characters, so it's not a fever dream or anything. Like what happened in the film, and definitely watch the whole video. The video's like 9 minutes and 26 seconds long. It's really cool, especially for those who have seen the film. And Get Out, it's one of those films that you the more you watch it, the better it gets because there's way more little Easter eggs to get.
I only watched it that one time in the theater.
Oh man, you definitely gotta get it.
Crazy. What was crazy is that when we were leaving the theater, we saw like mixed couples. We saw mixed couples walking out. We're just sitting there ourselves like, that must be an uncomfortable ride. Uncomfortable, quiet ride home.
I can imagine, like hopefully,
Hopefully they're all still together.
yeah, and stay woke, as Childish Gambino would say. But yeah, definitely check out the film and that video on YouTube if you can, and also you can go to Best Buy, and I believe that the Steelbook edition of Get Out is available. So
You have it, don't you?
No, I don't. I'm not gonna get it.
What?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm perfectly content with my first edition release.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, you can add it to your collection, Carl, and you really should.
I plan on it.
Yeah, which means never.
Pretty much. I do like the movie. I haven't bought a DVD in like forever.
Yeah, I bought a few Blu-rays in this past Black Friday. So yeah.
You were still looking for more over the weekend.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you was.
I do have a couple in mind. Yeah. Now that the Criterion sale ended, but yeah, check that out. Got some other news here. We have Quentin Tarantino's Charles Manson film gets a release date, which is very, very apt because Charles Manson just died.
Yeah, like a week ago.
Yeah, 83. He lived way too long. Fuck that guy.
But you know what's crazy is like, I got the I got the news report. I got the alert.
Mm-hmm.
People have like mentioned a few things about it, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like you would seem like something like that. Who, like it or not, he was an icon. Like he's a murderous icon.
Yeah, he is.
But it's like you would figure that he would get like you would see more documentaries about him, much more people telling the story and all that, and it just kind of like came and went.
Yeah, I know. There's a plenty of documentaries on him.
Oh, they are. But you figured you would see them on TV.
Yeah,
a lot more since he passed. But
yeah,
it just kind of came and went now.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. But apparently, Tarantino's 9th film, which will be on the Charles Manson, Sharon Tate murders, it will be released on August 9th, 2019, which is the 50th anniversary of the Sharon Tate, Lino LaBianca murders committed by followers of the Manson family cult.
Would it be to the date?
Yep, it's to the day.
Jesus.
Yeah, I believe so. Because it's like, because Sharon Tate was she was 8 months pregnant, and she was the wife of Roman Polanski, and yeah,
that guy.
Yeah, and she was brutally murdered. It was. Ugh. Sony Pictures will be distributing this film following the implosion of the Weinstein Company, resulting from the fallout from multiple sexual assault allegations by co-founder Harvey Weinstein. No casting has been confirmed as of yet, but Tarantino is interested in casting Margot Robbie, Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Tom Cruise. This would be the first film of Tarantino's that's based on a true story.
Who could you see playing Charles Manson?
Damn. I could see DiCaprio or Brad Pitt. I could see Brad Pitt playing Charles Manson.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me, because if you've seen the movie 12 Monkeys,
yep,
it kind of reminds me.
He had the beard and stuff.
Like he had like the crazy eyes, and he was like a mental patient. Yeah, I could see him doing that. Or maybe like because it's back in the 60s, they'll probably cast somebody younger. If that's the case, then maybe, oh gosh, maybe the dude who was in The Punisher.
Who played Micro?
No. Oh, Eben Moss Bachrach.
Yeah,
I could see him playing him, or Daniel Weber, who plays Lewis. The young veteran in The Punisher, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah. Also, I do see. Oh my God, what's his name? He plays the father.
Oh,
I'm gonna say this dude's name wrong. Milo Ventimiglia.
yep, that's him.
Yeah, he plays Jack Pearson in This Is Us.
Oh, the Tearjerker show.
Yeah. Yeah, I finished the first season.
Did you cry?
I did not, but I did like the way how they portrayed William's death. I would have to get more into that.
Mm-hmm.
But him, I can actually see it if I can bring up a good picture.
Oh, I could totally see it.
If
Yeah, I
it
could.
comes out.
If all you have to do is like put a shitty swastika on
Yeah.
his forehead, and boom, there it is. Yeah, I could see him playing Manson. But yeah, I'm interested in this film. Seeing what Tarantino can bring to a true crime story. Yeah, and hopefully he'll beat the American Crime Story series to the punch.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to that. What was it? The assassination of Gianni Versace.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's coming out. It's coming out next month.
Oh okay. Yeah, do you know who's starring in it?
I read through it, but there's a bunch of people that I never heard of.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely I'll keep an eye out for that too. Some other news here: House of Cards. The sixth and final season is still moving forward without Kevin Spacey. Production begins early next year and will run for 8 episodes. Robin Wright will star as the lead. House of Cards is Netflix's first original series that first debuted in 2013, and following the fallout from Kevin Spacey's own sexual misconduct allegations, he's been kicked off the show, cut, and Netflix has cut ties with him. So I think that they're going to use Robin Wright's character, Claire Underwood, to finish off the series, and it's going to be 8 episodes long. Now, you watch House of Cards, right?
I started to. I stopped in the 3rd season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably end up like starting all over again. And yes, I'm just getting back. I was just getting ready to after you just chimed in about the assassination of Gianni Versace.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz is going to be in it.
Okay.
Playing Donatella Versace, and Edgar Ramirez is playing Gianni Versace.
Yep. Okay. So Penelope Cruz plays his wife?
Ricky Martin playing Antonio Gianni Versace was.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, but she plays like a key figure.
She was.
Uh,
yeah.
That's a good cast. Edgar Ramirez is a very good actor too, quite underrated.
Yeah. Donatella Versace is Gianni Versace's sister.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Edgar Ramirez, there's also a really good miniseries which you can watch on Netflix, and it's also available on the Criterion Collection. It's called Carlos, and it's about the terrorist Carlos the Jackal, and that he was an infamous figure in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth watching. You can find the episodes on Netflix. I think it's 3 episodes, so
okay.
like total is like 5 hours long, but it's broken up into like 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but it's really good. But yeah, House of Cards. I also stopped at the 3rd season because it was kind of like, I'm like, I'm good.
No, because you want to know? Do you really want to know why I got? Now that I remember, you know why I stopped watching House of Cards?
Why is that?
So I can watch Iron Fist.
Jesus. Really, Carl? Mm-hmm. You stopped a good show to watch a terrible one, and you watched the entirety of the terrible one, but stopped watching the good one. Mm-hmm. Shit, this is why we can't have anything, people. That's why we can't have anything. Wow, you get your life, Carl.
Get your life.
But yeah, I stopped because like there were other good shows that caught my attention, but then like I tried to get back into it in the 3rd season, but then I just felt like it was missing something. I don't know what it was, but after these Kevin Spacey allegations, I'm definitely not going back to it.
I'll still watch it, but it's just like you're not gonna look at Kevin Spacey again. Like,
Nah.
dude. Like every scene, like even if he just delivers like such a great performance, you're just gonna be like, dude.
Yeah.
It's literally like watching like the best Chris Benoit match ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like you'll just be watching him and be like, dude, you were so great at what you did. Damn, you fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, true. But at the same time, like I'm now that I'm thinking about it, like you have idiot morons out there who still bump R. Kelly's music, and that dude's a fucking pedophile. So so you can't tell people anything. But anyway,
Pretty much. R. Kelly pretty much has like scandal repellent. People still support that guy.
and I have no idea why. You fucking morons. Anyway, let's move on. So some other news and headlines here. Disney resumes talks to buy the bulk of Fox's film and TV divisions. So apparently, just when you thought that the merger was over, nope, they just took a break.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I completely forgot it. What was the holidays?
Yeah,
That's probably literally what it was.
maybe. Yeah, I think that was part of it. The talks come as Disney prepares to launch 2 new streaming services, one built around sports programming from ESPN, and the other around TV and movie properties from Walt Disney Studios and other companies under Disney's umbrella like ABC, Freeform, Pixar, and Lucasfilm. Among other intellectual property, Fox owns the distribution rights for Star Wars: A New Hope, the original Star Wars trilogy.
Really?
Yep, because it was distributed underneath 20th Century Fox. They still own the rights to the OG trilogy. So that's why Disney can't release the OG trilogy like in their original form, because
I always thought that once they bought Lucasfilm that just came with it.
like, yeah, I thought so too, but apparently George Lucas still has the rights. The 20th Century Fox through George Lucas still has the rights to the OG trilogy. So like we're still stuck with the special editions whether we like it or not. So the only way you can get
we did find the despecialized editions, hard copies.
Yeah, we did find hard copies of the despecialized at Comic-Con, but I already have them, so like I'm good. But yeah, but also a key thing is that 21st Century Fox does have the rights to the film rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four. And these titles remain the last Marvel comic book characters whose film rights are not currently owned by Disney and Marvel Studios. Also, there's Spider-Man, which is a joint venture between Marvel and Sony. What do you think about this?
Just take Marvel. Just take Fantastic Four. I mean, I'm on the fence. Not with Fantastic Four, Marvel. Just get it.
Mm-hmm.
Get it.
Yeah.
But as far as X-Men goes, I mean, I don't want to see Deadpool in Disney.
Yeah,
unless Disney just decides to make an exception and like keep Deadpool rated R.
Yeah, or like if they could like kind of like pull a Miramax where they'll like create a specific division for.
Yeah, I was like all good with like Spider-Man was getting his own universe through Sony.
Yeah.
The regular MCU through Disney, and then X-Men with 20th Century.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of them have like joint ventures.
Yeah.
So it's like they have the rights back, so Disney can have Marvel Studios can have that say, but yet they can still put out the rated R material.
Yeah, I like that idea. Like take a similar approach with Sony.
With Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think I'd be more comfortable with that because like I don't like the idea of Disney literally monopolizing entertainment where they have Star Wars, they've got Marvel, they've got 20th Century Fox underneath one umbrella. Like that's because corporate consolidation sucks in the long run because like you'll have homogenization of content, and I can't see Disney sanitizing Deadpool or because like Disney would not even allow Marvel Studios to make Logan.
Nah, they wouldn't.
Like unless they want to banish Logan to Netflix, but even then they'd be like, well, Wolverine's too popular a character for the kids, so we got to make him PG-13. Yeah, so I really hope that if a deal has to come down, like you say, that there should be like a joint venture,
right?
Where the X-Men could be part of the MCU, but Fox can still make their own separate X-Men universe.
Well, and what's crazy too is like I came across a video a while ago, maybe like a month or two ago, where they said just imagine Magneto in the MCU. It'll be over.
Yeah. Magneto
just manipulates the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's it.
Yeah, Magneto versus Thanos, or Doctor Doom, who would actually be done right, actually.
Yeah. Dude, Magneto can, like, squish Iron Man.
Yeah. Yeah, just without a thought, turn him into, like, a tin can.
Yeah, like, literally. And they just, like, demonstrated everything, and I'm just like, wow, like... Like, honestly... Magneto in the MCU, though, the MCU will be completely obsolete.
I wouldn't go that far.
Vibranium.
Isn't vibranium?
It's a metal.
I know it's a metal, but isn't maybe I'm thinking it wrong. Maybe vibranium. Maybe they can explain it away like that's the only metal that's like immune to Magneto's powers.
But then what would in the Infinity Gauntlet be? It is metal.
That's true.
So Thanos is done.
I wouldn't go that far, but
yeah.
I mean, I would say that Magneto will provide a hell of a challenge. Like he'd be like the Brock Lesnar, like he'd be the like Magneto would end up being the Brock Lesnar. Thanos would end up being the Undertaker, and like you know how that goes.
You know what? Shut up.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, as you say, like as long as there's like a joint deal, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But to give away the full rights, of
Yeah, that
X-Men
would-
to Disney, I'm not kosher with that. But we'll have to see how this deal is going to go.
But just pray.
Yeah, man. Because you know X-Men, they're getting their act together with the X-Men.
They're
universe.
listening to their fans finally.
Yeah, Deadpool, New Mutants, Logan,
I
man.
mean, it's gonna be so good.
X-Men themed horror film.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope.
And Macy Williams is in it. I like seeing my Game of Thrones star. I like seeing stars from like my favorite shows just getting work in other places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, unfortunately, you know, I love Sons of Anarchy and seeing Charlie Hunnam in that god awful King Arthur film.
Yeah, I heard that was trash.
It's probably out on DVD, and I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, it's been out on Blu-ray for a while.
Yeah, if it's out on Blu-ray, like, and if they don't advertise it,
Mm-hmm.
it probably like sucked that bad.
Yeah, like I heard it's got universal trashed reviews.
And Charlie Hunnam's such a good actor too.
He is. And I reviewed one of his movies earlier this year, The Lost City of Zed. He was really good in that.
Yeah, and he was in what was it, Crimson Tide with Tom Hiddleston, was it?
Crimson Tide? No, Crimson Tide, that's a Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman film.
Right, okay, no. So then
Are you thinking of Pacific Rim?
no, not Pacific Rim, he was in that. But you reviewed it too.
Tom Hiddleston.
I'll get back to it. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna yell it out because I have tendencies of doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. While you look that up, we do have another headline here. For fans of the original 2003 film Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World with Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany, Russell Crowe has teased a possible Master and Commander sequel on his Twitter page recently, where he says, quote, for the Aubrey Maturin lovers.
Crimson Peak,
There it is. For the Aubrey Maturin lovers, I do hear whispers indeed that a second voyage is perhaps potentially pre-proposed a possibility. So O'Brien aficionates and aficionados, let 20th Century Fox know of your pleasure. Master and Commander was released in 2003 to critical acclaim, making $212 million worldwide against its $150 million budget. And it was nominated for, I believe, 10 Oscars that year. I would be down for a Master and Commander sequel because the first one was excellent and it's definitely underrated. Like, I don't know anybody else who's seen it. Maybe John Haponic has seen it at some point, but it's a really good film. And
who's the better film aficionado between you and him?
oh, I am. But I will say that his wife, Jessica Concussion, she does have a larger DVD collection than I do.
Really?
Yeah, like more movies than I do. Like I've seen like plastic crates on crates on crates of DVD films. It's more than my collection, and my collection is considerable. It
is a lot.
It is a lot. So hey, but you know what? Quality and quantity is what my motto is. So, yeah. But yeah, Master and Commander, man. I am. If hopefully 20th Century Fox can make a sequel because, yeah, the first one was great, underrated film, beautifully filmed. Hopefully they could get Peter Weir back to direct this one again. If not, then maybe Denis Villeneuve. I think he'd be a great addition to the project. Have you seen Master and Commander?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you should. I think you dig it. It's really good. Yeah,
You have it?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have another headline here. This is our last one, which I do want to get into a little bit because I thought this was
actually I do
really
want to get
interesting.
into this because I got the Easter eggs for it.
Oh, for Justice League.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Apparently, and this deals with corporate greed. Apparently, Warner Brothers Warner Brothers executives had refused to delay Justice League's release date for fear of losing their bonuses. So if you're wondering why Justice League ended up feeling rushed and why Superman's upper lip looked all fucked up and fake, well, it was because it was rushed to meet its release date in November 17th. Apparently, after, and this was a story that was reported from The Wrap and also posted on Consequence of Sound. It says that after Zack Snyder stepped down from production due to his daughter's suicide earlier this year, Joss Whedon took over directorial duties of the film. The end result was a film that was clearly a styles clash of both filmmakers' visions, which was just one of the many problems of the movie. However, a report from The Wrap suggests that corporate greed was a major cause for the flawed quality of Justice League, specifically a merger with AT&T and WB that would have been jeopardized if WB delayed the film. And this is a post from The Wrap. Studio executives pressured WB president Greg Silverman to fire Zack Snyder, but under orders from studio CEO Kevin Tsujihara, Zack Snyder remained on board. There was one condition, however: lighten the tone of the film so Zack Snyder can stay aboard. So instead of replacing Zack Snyder altogether, Whedon was brought in to rework the script. And so in December 2016, Silverman stepped down as president and was succeeded by Toby Emmerich. And this was just 2 months after WB announced plans to merge with AT&T. And so if Emmerich's first act as president of a major movie studio was to push back the impending release date of a tentpole feature like Justice League, then it would have been seen as a sign of weakness on WB's part that would have hurt the company's value at AT&T. And so after Snyder left the project and Whedon took over, quote, many executives thought postponing the film was the right move. So they actually wanted to delay the film. However...
One quick question. Toby Emmerich, is any relation to Robert Emmerich who directed Independence Day?
Oh, Roland Emmerich?
Roland, excuse me.
I believe no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yep. So even though they wanted to delay the film, however, Emmerich and Tsujihara apparently wanted to preserve the bonuses they would be paid before the AT&T WB merger. The fear was that if Justice League came out in 2018, the AT&T WB merger may have forced Emmerich and Tsujihara out of the studio by the end of the year, meaning that they wouldn't get their bonuses. However, ironically enough, AT&T decided to push back the merger for a second time back to 2018. So it was a moot point at the end of the day. So even if they delayed the film, the merger would have still been delayed anyhow for next year. So, and they still would have gotten their bonuses, even though the film would have been delayed. So, good job, WB.
I'm a WB.
Whale off chicken. Oh my gosh, Chappelle's take on that frog is something else.
Fuck that, bro. I'm really only saying that just because Chappelle said it.
Yeah. Yeah, so apparently I find this really interesting. This just goes to show that, like, what we've said many times on the podcast, that WB does not know what the fuck they're doing with the DCEU.
They don't.
Yeah. Like,
John, stop making the excuses. They just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, John. I mean, so John Haponic, resident.
We need to have him on the show.
Oh yeah, we will have him on the show someday. But John, I know you've been the resident DCEU apologist, and
New favorite word, isn't it?
Yeah, because it applies. But John, I know that that you really want the DCEU to succeed. I know that you prefer DC over Marvel, but if this isn't any indication that WB and DC didn't have a clear long-term vision for their own cinematic universe, and the fact that it shows in the poor quality of their films, except Wonder Woman, dude, you can't make excuses for the DCEU anymore, John. You just can't.
All he just sent was a thumbs down emoji.
I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. And mind you, and here's another a tidbit from the news story that I read.
Go ahead.
Apparently, Greg Silverman, who was the WB president at the time that Man of Steel was in production.
Right.
Apparently, Greg Silverman he actually picked Zack Snyder to direct Man of Steel, and apparently some people were like, "Well, wait a minute, Zack Snyder's nihilistic and dark tone. That's not right for Superman." And like during the production, like Greg Silverman would actually get notes passed to him by Zack Snyder, like, "Oh, here's what I'm doing for the film," and Silverman would ignore everything. He would just be like, "Oh, I trust you, whatever." He took a laissez-faire attitude towards the whole production. So like he was like, "Yeah, I'm cool with whatever you do." Oh, what? Superman snaps Zod's neck? Yeah, that's cool. Superman's a depressing Christ figure? That's cool too. I don't care. We're making money. Superman. Who cares? So it goes to show you that when you hire the wrong filmmakers, the wrong writers, and people who don't care about or have a deep understanding of the properties that they're working on, you end up with the DCEU. On the flip side, if you have a Kevin Feige, someone who's a lifelong fan of comics, someone who actually understands and appreciates the lore, you get the quality of the MCU. Now, even though I have my criticisms of the MCU as of late, at least they're consistent in terms of quality. They're consistently good.
Promote Bruce Timm. That's it.
Yeah. Promote Bruce Timm. Jeff Johns as the overseer of the future DCEU films. That's a step in the right direction. Patty Jenkins, make her oversee like Wonder Woman. I think that's what they're doing. So that's a step in the right direction too. And like I said in episode 100, when you're making the new DCEU films moving forward, ignore Justice League, ignore everything that came before it besides Wonder Woman.
Marvel did it.
Yeah.
Eric Bana's Hulk,
or rather, Edward Norton's Hulk too. Because they're like, well, recasting, but Eric Bana's Hulk they ignored. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I actually went to the theater.
I did too.
To watch that one. I was just like, whatever. I bought like a little video camera. I actually bootlegged like 3 seconds of it, just to like, hey, how would it look? Just to see how would it look.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say like, did these like Warner Brothers and DC do a soft reboot? Move forward with new stories. Ignore the films that came before, except Wonder Woman, and just like start fresh. Start fresh with what you have, and then they're gonna recast Batman since Ben Affleck wants to leave so bad, and I don't blame him. Yeah, that's another opportunity to start fresh even more. So I still have hope for the DCEU. I do. So and plus, if you look at how much money Justice League cost and how much it made in the box office, yeah, it's a failure because Justice League cost $300 million to make. You know how much money it made in its opening weekend?
Yeah, like half that.
Not even. They made $92 million domestically against a $300 million budget. That's a flop. And, yeah. So even though Justice League made their money like back worldwide, but in domestically they've only still made 197 million against 300 million. So it's still a flop no matter which way you look at it. So this is a clear indication that WB and DC needs to do some serious soul searching. They need to hire a Kevin Feige like figure, Jeff Johns, Bruce Timm, and have Patty Jenkins, and have them create a clear vision, move forward, ignore the bullshit.
I just hope those egos don't clash.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, that's true. Because like if you have,
I can see just Patty Jenkins throwing her freaking power around. Like, you do realize that I had the best movie.
Yeah, I saved the DCEU. Damn it,
barely.
Well, yeah,
barely.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. That's
the Easter eggs.
Oh yeah, so the Easter eggs.
Yeah, the Easter eggs from Justice League. All right, let's just go. I'll try to get through these as fast as possible.
Yep.
All right, so the first one, let's call this one 1989.
Okay.
Danny Elfman's Batman theme was actually played in the film for the first time in 25 years.
Oh really?
Yeah, Danny Elfman actually returned to score the movie as well. So, so like I said, it was his first Batman film in 25 years since Batman Returns.
Yep, that's right.
All right. Speaking of Batman Returns, the Penguin was actually referenced in the movie.
He was?
Yeah, it was referenced by Alfred. Alfred mentioned the exploding wind-up penguins, indicating his Bruce Wayne's past battles with the Penguin.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, How would you imagine the Penguin in the DCEU?
I imagine him being like a
Tattooed with a complicated backstory.
like a goth emo with like a like a tattooed goth emo with like black fingernail paint,
Daddy issues.
daddy issues, and he smells like fish. He works in like a fish market. Yeah, yeah. Nah. I mean, a serious one, I could imagine like a slick crime boss with like a really gutter ratchet ass fuck attitude, but he's like super sharp.
Yeah, but it still have the characteristics of the Penguin.
Maybe not like Danny DeVito, not like literal like fins, but definitely like a nose, the nose, and like the short stature.
I love Danny DeVito's Penguin though.
Oh yeah, that was definitely one of the.
I mean, I'm sure you've probably seen hundreds more Danny DeVito films that he's done better jobs in, but that is my favorite Danny DeVito performance.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll give you that. I mean, he's done a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Like, I'm not gonna discredit that.
Yeah,
but like, I would have to say that was my. Like I said, I wore that VHS out.
yeah. Oh, speaking of Danny DeVito, one film you should check out of his. It stars Gene Hackman. It's called Heist.
Okay.
It came out in 2001. It's a really, really underrated crime drama.
All right.
And he plays a crime boss in it.
Nice.
Yeah, a vicious one at that.
Yeah, his daughter went to Brown University.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Was it Brown? Yeah, Brown.
Okay.
All right. So the next one, Janice.
Janice.
Okay, it's a hint about the crazy villain, the Black Mask.
Okay.
Okay, see, if you look in the Gotham skyline at one of those scenes where Commissioner Gordon turns on the bat signal.
Yeah.
You can see in one of the buildings it bears the name Janus, which is for Janus Cosmetics, which was a company that was ran by Black Mask, whose real name I can't remember right now.
Yeah.
But it was brought out by Wayne Enterprises, and Black Mask basically turned into a deranged, psychotic villain who swears revenge on Bruce Wayne for buying his company.
Okay. So big.
Okay. Next, obviously, well, this isn't too much of an Easter egg. It was pretty obviously mentioned how the Green Lantern was referenced during the and some of the Lantern Corps actually appeared during the Armies of the Apocalypse within the movie. The New Gods was also referenced. Stephen Wolf mentions it. He actually mentions his first comic appearance.
Really?
Yeah, as he was mentioning how how he was boasting about the New Gods, and you're saying basically saying the old gods are like losers.
Yeah.
Well, when he mentions New Gods, which is actually his first comic appearance, which is New Gods #7.
Okay.
The Superman versus Flash, which was just basically an ongoing race battle between the two.
Oh, like who's faster?
Yeah, and there's been plenty of times where they raced and they never had a definitive conclusion. There was never a declared winner.
Okay.
All right. Go back. The leagues.
Mm-hmm.
So as it's obvious, that at the end of the movie, Bruce Wayne, you can see him setting up the tables with the 6 chairs, which is hinting that, he's building the Hall of Justice for the Justice League. Well, at the same time, with the post-credit scene, how Lex Luthor, when he's released from prison, he's starting to form the Injustice League. And Deathstroke apparently is the first member.
Yep.
And then the last one, wow, these were quick. The original Jimmy Olsen. All right. So when Barry, Flash's real name?
Barry Allen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
2 first names.
Yep.
Okay, so when Barry Allen goes to visit his father in the beginning in jail,
the
actor who played the check-in officer was actually Mark McClure. And and Mark McClure, he actually played Marty McFly's older brother, Dave McFly, in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And he was the newsboy Jimmy Olsen in the original 4 Christopher Reeve Superman movies.
Oh, okay.
And he also appeared in what I actually never knew, a 1984 Supergirl movie.
Oh yeah, that was known as one of the most notoriously bad films ever made.
Hey, it was pretty common.
Yeah.
So actually Mark McClure holds the record in appearing in more Superman films than the late great Christopher Reeves.
Wow. Huh. That's a pretty interesting record if there ever was one. All right. Justice League Easter eggs. So even a film as trash as that has some pretty clever ones to boot. Yeah, all right. And so now we get to our topic of the evening. We're talking about Marvel's latest Netflix series, The Punisher, starring John Bernthal as Frank Castle.
You do realize he's probably still remembered. He will always be known as Shane.
Yeah, I mean, because like what's funny is like John Bernthal, like some of his roles are like variations of Shane, like the crazy unhinged person.
They really are. You remember him in Wolf of Wall Street?
Yep.
Like I still got a hint to Shane in that.
Yeah,
he's a completely like different character.
Yeah, he just feels like some douchebag like. Yeah, some douchebag like
He was like a henchman or something.
Henchman, yeah. And also in the film Baby Driver, he plays a. Yeah. He had a really brief appearance. He played like a sort of like a really dangerous, hard ass criminal dude. But yes, The Punisher is the latest series in Marvel's Netflix line. This one stars John Bernthal, Eben Moss Bachrach as David Lieberman, aka Micro, Ben Barnes as Billy Russo, Amber Rose Reva as Dina Madani, Special Agent of Homeland Security or FBI.
Very pretty girl.
Yes, indeed.
She is.
Daniel Weber as Lewis Wilson, one of the more interesting characters in the film. Paul Schulz as William Rollins III, a.k.a. Agent Orange, and Deborah Aaron Wool as Karen Page, and Jason R. Moore as Curtis Hoyle, Frank Castle's best friend and fellow veteran. This series takes place after the events of Daredevil season 2, after Frank Castle gets his revenge on those responsible for the deaths of his family. He uncovers a larger conspiracy that involves an incident in his Marine Corps days in Afghanistan, which has far-reaching implications for him and other more dangerous and shadowy parties. And so we get to see so much violence and gore.
Right up your alley.
Buckets of bullets, blood, and gore, bones broken. I love it.
Now, if you have not seen Punisher, mute.
Yes.
We are giving you a spoiler alert.
Yes. Spoilers all over the shop once again.
Sorry, Afton. We still love you.
Yes, we still love you. Hit the mute button, and once you watch the show, come back to this episode and listen to our thoughts.
She's gonna hit us up, and we're gonna have our own discussion.
But yeah, the series has been out for 2 weeks, as long as Justice League. So yeah,
same day.
Yeah, same day. So
no, Justice League came out like a day before.
Oh yeah, because like early screenings. Yeah, but yeah, so. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Justice League, well, if you haven't seen Punisher, rather, well, hit the mute button and come back to us when you do. So, Carl, we'll start with you. What did you think of The Punisher?
I honestly thought that it was the realest Marvel Netflix series to date.
For sure.
Like there was no superpowers, just flat out violence and just real life situations. Like I remember when I hinted about it in a couple of episodes ago, I'm like, it touched a lot on PTSD.
Yeah, it did.
And it just goes to show that shit is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was a concern that I had for the show too. Like,
really?
Yeah, because like how PTSD would be depicted, because like it would have been too cheap. If like too cheap, like a crutch, if you will, like if you blamed like the Punisher or like other characters' violent actions because they have PTSD, that's why they're being violent. I like the fact that the show handled it very intelligently. Yeah, and in a way
they had to, because it's because PTSD is a sensitive subject.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, of course, no matter what, even though it's NBC, it's ABC, it's still Disney.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, they're not going to try to offend anybody, especially in this PC world that we live in. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they're going to do something, if they're going to touch on a subject, they're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Same thing with Luke Cage, where like, remember the hood, Luke Cage's hood was supposed to be like a tribute to Trayvon Martin.
Yep, the hoodie.
Yeah,
Yep.
the hoodie. So it's like they touched on a lot of like civil rights and civil rights moments in Luke Cage, and they executed that well. They
Yeah.
had to do the same thing for Luke Cage. I mean, for Punisher. Excuse me.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And I also liked, and with that, with the PTSD thing, I really liked the character Curtis, who was Frank Castle's friend and fellow veteran, who actually runs a support group for fellow former veterans who are trying to reintegrate in society, and they all handled their own PTSD differently. And I really liked his character because like it was kind of complex where like you could tell that he clearly agrees with Frank Castle's mission. He understands why he has to do what he has to do, like kill the bad guys and all that.
Yeah.
Like he's not like being preachy like, oh, you can't do that. You got to rise
Thou
above
shalt
it.
not kill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like, look, I know what happened to you. I know what happened to your family. I know it's you got to do what you believe is right, and I'll be here to help you out however I can. But at the same time, I'm going to do what I got to do and help other veterans my way. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
they had that mutual understanding.
Yep, they really did. Yeah, and like John Bernthal, man, like he's like the ideal Frank Castle.
If only he was taller. That's the only flaw. But it's like you watching him. He's like a scene where he's like walking or something. Like, damn, he's short. And then that's it.
He's actually average height. He's 5'11". He's basically 6 feet tall.
Yeah, but Frank Castle was taller than that.
Yeah, I know.
Frank Castle's got to be like 6'4".
Yeah, but then again, like Wolverine was like 5'0" in the comics, and
Right.
Hugh Jackman is way taller.
Same with the Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Ninja Turtles are actually like 3 feet.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, they were like 3-4 feet
In the
in the comics. In the comics and the cartoons, they were really short.
Huh? Did not know that. Oh, but I thought also they were like average height. But in the comics, they're short.
Yeah, in the comics, they were short.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta revisit those sometime.
The cartoon, they were short.
Okay, but yeah, like John Bernthal, this is like the best version of Frank Castle we've seen. Like just like the fact that like when he's in the zone when he's killing, like he's like he goes into that
like he goes nuts.
That primal state, like you see that.
Is he a method actor?
No, he's not a method actor, as far as I know.
Well, shit.
Yeah,
he fooled the fuck out of me.
yeah, like he would like you see like twitches of his face like sometimes when he's talking, like he's just like 2 seconds away like from like choking the shit out of you.
Yeah,
like,
especially like in the beginning.
Yeah,
where like all he was doing was just to the sledgehammer to a wall.
Yeah, and they like the other construction workers are calling him Gimp because he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, they literally they thought he was the R word. So,
yeah.
like,
Yep. And then like they were like, "Yo, man," because like he's like, "Yo, man, you know what? You keep hitting this wall. Like it's affecting the rest of us. It's like we're not getting paid as much."
Well, yeah, because he would stay. He would get there he'd be the first one there and the last one to leave.
Yep. Yeah. And then it was like, the way Frank Castle would just look at them every time they try to like mess with them.
Like, motherfucker, do you know? You must not know.
I'm like, dude, if only you knew. Like,
exactly.
Back up. Just keep it moving. Just keep it moving, man. Just don't go there. And like when Frank Castle, when he gets into that place, and you could like sometimes like he would like have this like guttural primal yell, like, ah! Like he's hitting people, shooting people, stabbing people. I'm like, God damn, calm down.
I told you.
I was like, yo, like, and that's the interesting thing about the violence in the show too. It's like you understand Frank Castle's motivations, and like considering the people that he's going up against, you actually actively root for him.
He makes sense.
It makes sense, but the violence keeps going after.
You cringe.
It makes you cringe. Like after a certain point, it's like you're like, yeah, get him, Frank Castle. But then after a certain point, it's like,
damn. Frank, okay,
all right,
we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. Did you? Oh, yeah, he did that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the first 2 swings of the sledgehammer, but after the fifth and sixth one, that was a little much, man. You could have pulled back. It's like it makes you uncomfortable. At times, it's like you want to look away, but you can't.
Negan Glenn death uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So just picture that every episode.
Pretty much. Like this dude is like a one-man army, one-man wrecking crew, and like, man, like there were certain scenes where I would just stop and just like, and just my jaw would drop. Like for example, that one scene where he's in the woods and he meets his other armored buddy, and like they're getting hunted down by that death squad.
Yeah,
man,
it was Anvil. It was
was it no? No, I don't think it was Anvil that was hunting them. It was William Rollins. Like he had like his own
Yeah.
unit, his own squad that he sent after them in the woods because Frank Castle was trying to get information
Right.
on him because like he was because his buddy in the woods was actually like part of his team, and like in the beginning like the dude was like hiding in camouflage and shot him through the leg with an arrow, or first one shot him in the shoulder. Then he shot him through the leg. I'm like, damn, this dude is still standing up.
Superhero physics.
Yo, you know you can't even call.
But you don't even think about it. But you don't even think about it. It's like, damn. I mean, it's possible he can survive that, but it's like, oh, yeah, superhero physics.
Yo, he takes like an ungodly amount of punishment throughout the film. He's like throughout the show. He's like it's like freaking Mick Foley times 2. He's like Matthew Murdock times 2 in terms of like punishment.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because there's been so many times Matt Murdock should have died.
yeah, same deal with Frank Castle, and he still like lives. He's just like, oh, he's just unconscious for a bit. He'll be all right. Sleep it off.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like that whole scene where like he's in the woods and they're taking out that death squad. Like he sees like the hidden cameras and he's like,
But back to the first few episodes when on the construction site when they finally tried to beat up Frank Castle, and then Frank Castle kills him and then dumps him into the concrete.
yeah, the pit that's still like being filled.
Took the money then and tells the guy who was nice to him, who gave him a sandwich, he was like, "Yo, just leave town."
Yeah, because like, oh man,
I was kind of hoping that kid would like make some type of comeback.
I thought he would, but apparently like he took his advice, and because apparently like the mobsters like found his wallet fell out and they found his license and he's like, yo,
The show is way funnier.
what was that?
After muted us, and she said the muted version of the show is way funnier.
I'm sure it is, but
Damn, Afton, kind of hurts a little bit.
yeah, whatever, yeah. I will say that the muted parts of you on our show is way funnier. But anyway, I'm just kidding. She's so gonna kill us. But anyway,
And kill you.
but seriously though, like there was like certain. I like the fact that like Frank Castle's PTSD, like you can understand like that's like a driving force for like why he's coming after the people who's killing him. But then like I don't know if it's just me, but don't you get the sense also that like it's not just his family, like maybe they like there's a part of him that enjoys the killing, that enjoys being in that perpetual state of like constant war, constant.
I mean, I didn't think about it, but it's possible.
I think so.
When he killed all the mob bosses in the poker game.
Yeah. Oh my God.
When they were about to kill the kid, and he just like,
It's
like the lights just went off, and all you hear is, pss, 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 pss.
Yup.
And there was only one in the head, and the boss was just left.
Yup.
I'm like, how did?
Yeah, man.
I could tell you're talking crap.
Yes, we. But anyway,
Don't you put that in, see?
But you know what I also liked about but like I said, like I think that there's like a sense, and it's kind of implied that maybe deep down, like if you took away the possible scapegoat of PTSD, his family being killed, like maybe there's a small sense that Frank Castle enjoys killing bad guys.
He got a little crazy, you know.
Oh, I won't say a little. I say like a lot, but he's like it's definitely controlled and moderated.
Yeah.
And plus, like I also really liked his his dynamic with Micro, David Lieberman, who's a very interesting supporting character too.
He was kind of a douche in the beginning.
Well, he had a right to be. He kind of did, because like the way Frank Castle was acting, but at the same time, it's like the way like he would spy on him like through like the city surveillance cameras.
Yeah.
Like he would even like when Frank Castle would put the hoodie up to cover his face, like he would still have like the gait and like his like the way he walks, and like even Micro had like a detection software for that. It's like, I see you. You're in a diner, and yeah, that was like an interesting cat and mouse that they had. But then like you see like how their partnership evolved. Like it's like, okay, clearly we're not going to be friends, but we both have a common goal here. I will work with you. And I thought it was a little creepy though that like Micro, because he was shot and he was left for dead.
Yeah, so he had to fake his death.
Yeah, like for his family, because he had some secrets that involved like I think not Anvil, but like William Rollins.
Yeah, William Rollins and
his whole outfit.
And that whole conspiracy.
Yep, the conspiracy in Afghanistan, like with the death of that innocent journalist, I believe.
Was it? No, I think it was a cop.
No, a cop. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, and he had to fake his death, and so like he's like living in the basement of this abandoned factory where he has like surveillance cameras in his house spying on his wife and kids.
What's crazy is his wife didn't even like nobody knew about it.
No,
and there was like one scene. There was like one scene because they had it. He had it hidden in the in the painting.
Yep.
And she like looks right dead at it, but she didn't notice.
Yeah. Like I was thinking, like, is that a clue? Maybe like she knows about it, but then I'm like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. But it was like pretty coincidental, but I kind of was getting mad, a little uncomfortable, the way like Frank underneath his alias Pete Castiglione was getting closer to Micro's wife and his family, even though.
It was unintentional.
Yeah, because she hit him with his car, but then he shook it off, and he kind of came by like, oh.
Superhero physics.
Yeah, because it takes place in the MCU, basically, Marvel Universe, and he's like, oh, I'll fix your garage. Oh, I'll fix your pipes in the kitchen. Oh, I'll have a drink of wine. And I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, Frank, don't you sleep with her. Don't you sleep with her. Don't you do it, Frank.
He didn't, though.
He did not.
He didn't.
If he did, I would have been so offended. I would have continued watching the show, but I would have the show would have went down 50 points with me if he slept with his wife. That would have not been cool at all.
I know.
Yeah, his wife Sarah, but you understand his wife Sarah because
she hasn't been around a man since Dave's quote unquote death.
Yeah.
So that's like her first interaction, and she was craving that attention, but yeah, he was giving it to her.
Yeah, and you could tell like he was like trying to give her just enough to like be nice.
Yeah,
but like he was gonna pull back, but like he wasn't gonna be Mr. Steal Your Wife. But there was one point where she ended up kissing him, and he was like, "Whoa, wait, what?" And then that's the part when I thought that, is it gonna be that cliched moment where like one person kisses the other, and it's like, whoa. The next thing you know, cut to them smashing in bed. Thankfully, it didn't go there. Nah. Because it would have been a super awkward moment for Micro and him, when he got back.
It was already a super awkward moment just to kiss alone.
Yeah, because when he came back, Micro was like,
"Yeah, see what had happened." Well, and he was like, "See what had happened was."
And the Micro was he has to drown his sorrows in booze, he just couldn't take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of. But I will say though, the effect of him not being there, his son was trying to be a little badass himself.
Dick. Yeah, this kid was a dick.
Yeah, the fact that he actually hit his sister in the face, I'm like, yo, this kid needs. If I was Sarah, I would have taken my belt off. I would have given that kid a fucking whooping. I'm not about hitting kids or whatnot, but sometimes
I am.
No,
that's how I was raised.
No, here's the thing. I will say this: if you're a parent, if your first instinct all the time is to hit your kids, then you're fucking up. Then you're raising a fucking monster. But
okay, that's true.
Yeah,
I had levels. There was times when if I really fucked up, I was getting my ass whooped.
Yeah, and that situation, that was a clear category 5 get the belt out moment. She should have done that. But the fact that Frank came over and had that little pep talk with him in his own Frank Castle way.
One. Yeah.
Whew, he made him cry.
How does that little boy know about Wu-Tang, by the way? That little kid had a Wu-Tang shirt. I'm like, you don't shut your young after millennial ass down.
Oh, I'm thinking about, that Chappelle Show sketch on the wife swap? With the white kid?
Yep. The streets, man.
G-Unit.
Get in the car. Get your ass in the car.
I was thinking about that, and then Frank Castle, his pep talk with the kid was it was hilarious and creepy at the same time because the way he took out his knife. He's like, oh, so you think you're a little badass? You know what this is? He described the name of the combat knife. He's like, see, I can close the distance no matter how far you are. Even if you have a gun, I can still get up close to you. And he holds the blade up to his neck.
Up to his neck.
And he starts crying.
Yeah, but he nipped it. He got it. He was like, "Yo, do it." And he just broke down and opened up to him. Because he was able. Because Lieberman's son was able to see that he was he got a little crazy in him.
Yeah, because he didn't know how to adjust to his dad being gone, and it's he felt maybe I got to be the man of the house. So being the man means I got to be a bully and all this.
Yeah.
And Frank
stealing
Castle
stealing skateboards and all that.
Yep. And Frank Castle, he set his ass straight. in his own way. And hey, I wouldn't go so far as to put a blade to a kid's neck, but
Yeah, Frank Castle was a disciplinarian because remember when someone was like, "Oh, my father goes over and kills Hajis." He had to like put him in check, like, "Yo, don't you say that. Don't you ever say that."
yup.
Kind of scared, and he had to scare his son straight. I'm all for that type of parenting.
Yeah, I mean, when it's needed though, when it's needed, because like if you do that all the time, then your kid's gonna become like a freaking rebellious hellion, and it happens a lot. Like for example, like in the most conservative families, especially like pastors' kids, they grow up to be fucking freaks and ratchet as fuck or thugs and whatnot.
That's mainly because, like, they're around like, you know, the church all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, my grandmother was a pastor. You know me. I was in church like 4 to 5 times a week.
Whew, that's too much.
It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. So by the time I got got old enough, I mean, it's still in me. You know, it's still in me and stuff. You know, I still believe in everything, but it's like I broke away. And I just went ahead and had my fun, but I still had like the knowledge. I still had like all the knowledge in me to like not get into severe trouble. I mean, I got into my fair share of trouble. Believe me, I ain't no saint.
Right. We know.
But you know what I'm saying, I still have that knowledge in me to keep me from going crazy and doing all types of like crazy shit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And
my fair share of ass whoopings.
oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I
can't remember just one. You got to pick up a top. Like, you know, when it comes to beatings, you got to pick out like a top 5. They're like choosing your favorite rappers.
Yo, you know what? I will say that. Like, I remember when I was a kid. Like,
you ain't get your ass beat. Shut up.
I did. Like, I remember when I was twice when I was a kid where my dad would go in the yard and get a switch. Like he would go into thorn bushes, cut out all the thorns, come back, swap.
Worse, he leaves like 2 leaves on it.
Now, he left no leaves. He just like cut out all the thorns out, because if you leave the thorns, that's abuse. But like, yo, I straightened out. And they flew right. Shit. Hey, that's
beat you out of the penitentiary. That's what they say.
Beat you like you stole something. But speaking of
back to Punisher.
Back to the Punisher. Speaking of people who should have gotten more weapons as kids, maybe they would have been a little bit better. Was the character Lewis Wilson, the young veteran who went in a downward spiral.
There was a point of no return for that kid after a while. Like, he was just so like. It's like he really just felt like his purpose was just to be a soldier.
Yeah, and like you could,
and he didn't know how to. It's like in a way, like it's like he couldn't or just didn't want to return to civilian life.
Yeah,
like he just wanted to be about that soldier life.
Yeah, I think so too, because like for him. Like, you could tell that, like, not only he couldn't readjust well into society.
No, he didn't. He's freaking digging holes and sleeping in them.
Yeah, he's digging, like, a trench, like a foxhole in his backyard. Yeah. And, like, he was the type of person who blamed everybody but himself. Like, he
almost shot his father.
Yeah, like, his father tried to wake him up, and then he's like...
That poor guy, too.
In the middle of a nightmare, he woke up, almost shot his head off. And I felt bad for his dad, too, yeah.
Yeah, he tried.
Yeah, because like you could tell that his dad loves him, but you could tell his dad also is scared as fuck of him. Yeah, because like he was like,
because it's like he knew. He's like he knew like, yo, this isn't my son.
Yeah,
this isn't my son before he was sent off.
Yeah, like he was walking on eggshells. Like you could tell, like he was like being careful with his words so he wouldn't like trigger and like the kid, like Lewis, like he would blame the government. He would blame Anvil for not hiring him because of his background. It's like, yo, we heard that you dug a foxhole in your backyard.
You're not stable enough.
You're not stable enough to be here. Yeah. And the way like he would react and like kind of and talk, he'd be like okay. Yeah. Like you could tell like he's trying to so hard to be normal, but he can't.
When he killed the other, I'm gonna call him a fake soldier.
Yeah, the fake,
because he lied about his shit.
Yeah, that dude.
And he was a Second Amendment Yeah, he's probably like enthusiast. Yeah, Second Amendment enthusiast.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got into his head as well until he found out he was lying, and then by the time he found out he was lying, he was already off. He was already off his rocker.
Yep, stabbed him in the gut, and then Curtis tracked him down, and then he actually Curtis. Even though Curtis has he's like, you heard this expression, one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
Yeah.
Curtis is that one-legged man who wins those ass-kicking contests.
He held his own.
Yeah, he held his own.
Unfortunately, Lewis ended up beating him with his own damn leg.
Yup. I thought he killed him, but I'm like, oh,
that's what I thought. But I'm like, yo, they can't have him. He can't go out like that.
Nah, but like he actually recovered, but he had the bomb strapped to him, and then that was a really tense scene. That was like one of my favorite scenes in the whole series, where like Frank Castle came over, and like they were playing a game of cat and mouse where Lewis was calling him on the phone, and like Frank Castle's like trying to get in his head in a way, like look, I understand where you're coming from. You're a vet. I know you're lost. You're confused and all this, but it's like, yo, like what you're doing right now is fucked up. You're going against your own brothers. And then like Frank Castle, like he's trying to stay calm, but he loses his temper too. It's like, yo, you're trying to kill your fellow USMC. I'm a goddamn United States Marine. You're trying to kill me, a fellow Marine. And it's like, and I was like, yo, Frank.
Yeah, he taught him how to cut the wire and stuff.
Yep.
Like he told him to cut the wire. So then later on, when he had Karen Page strapped to the bomb inside the hotel,
mm-hmm.
and then and I actually like the way too how Frank Castle and Karen Page was able to like interact.
Yep.
When she was trying to look for the wire to like rip out just so she can be able to escape.
Oh yeah, like that's like fast forwarding to where after Frank Castle like saves Curtis, he cuts the white wire and saves his life. Like there's a part where a bomb detonates. And Karen Page is like she was trying to interview like the senator who was like anti-gun control.
Yeah.
And like Lewis,
who ends up using a gun.
Yup. And Lewis like he escapes and he makes his way like to like one of the sub levels like in the basement, and Lewis actually captures Karen Page. He actually holds her at gunpoint and he has like the detonator in his hand. And I and like you said, I like the way like that Karen and Frank communicated, where like I think Frank said something like like I know like something like look down, or like no, well Frank Castle said like look it's like, look Lewis, just like you told me to cut the white wire, and then Karen's like, cut the white wire. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then she's like holding it without Lewis like even noticing, but then it's like there were times where she grabbed the red one and he would like say no, he's like, no, Lewis, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. No, he's looking at Karen like, no. Mm-hmm. And then she would grab the right one and say, and all of a sudden, Karen, go.
Yep. And then he pushed him into that freezer.
Yeah, and he ended up killing himself.
Yeah, because like he knew he had nowhere to go and he wasn't gonna go to prison.
Right.
So he just like just went out with a literal bang.
That was a bang. That was a boom.
Yeah. Boom goes the dynamite, literally. But yeah, man, I thought he was a really, really interesting character, like an interesting foil, because like, he was like Frank Castle if Frank Castle went all the way in the deep end and blamed and had no morals, no moral like ethics. Yeah, what else was good about the show too?
When he kills William Rollins.
Shit, yo,
that was the scene where you're just like, all right, get him, Frank, get him. Okay, damn, okay, Frank, all right.
You made your point. Oh, okay, yo, like because there was the end where
you did not recognize him.
He was literal. His face was literally pulp.
Yeah,
just red pulp. It was like smashed in plums on the floor.
Yeah, well, it's like, William Rollins had that vendetta against Frank because they had that argument back in his Afghanistan days.
Yeah,
and where Frank actually like literally punched his eye out.
Yeah, yep, had that milky white and that scar.
Yeah. The thing is, when he punched his eye out, you was actually able to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was all red. I was like, ugh, damn, Frank.
Think about it. You think Punisher is like too graphic for the rest of the Marvel Netflix series?
I think he fits in perfectly with the MCU with the Marvel Netflix series, but yeah, like you can't get any more violent than the Punisher. No. And Daredevil went there, Jessica Jones went there. Luke Cage had its moments.
Iron Fist didn't.
No, I didn't. No. Iron Fist, you could have aired on ABC and people would have forgotten about it even more. Yeah. But yeah, man, like it's funny because like this is one where you can't call this a superhero show. This is a crime drama. Yeah, straight up.
And you know what? That's what I'm noticing that Marvel is doing. Like I think I mentioned this at Codex 100 last week. Mm-hmm. That is like Yeah, they're all superheroes. It's all the superhero genre,
Yeah.
but they're making subgenres.
Yeah.
Like for instance, like Runaways, Spider-Man: Homecoming. They're
Like teen
superheroes.
teen-
Teen superheroes.
Yep.
You have the crime dramas, which is your Daredevils, Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was definitely a crime drama. Luke Cage and all that, and then like there's like little subgenres. Doctor Strange, you can kind of say it falls into the mysticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was science fiction.
Yep.
But it's like all superhero.
Yeah.
So is what they're doing. It's like they're just expanding the superhero genre.
Yep. Absolutely. Like, they're taking like multiple approaches.
Right.
And like with New Mutants is going to be horror.
Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely. And like, yeah. And
yeah, like what? But when he beat William Rollins, I'm like.
And Home Dude was torturing the hell out of Frank Castle too.
Yeah, and how was Frank Castle still living through all that? Beats me, but like I said, superhero physics.
Yep. Like he was like he not only like shot him, he stabbed him like a pincushion, slit his throat open to the point where he almost decapitated him, pushed his eyes in his sockets, kept beating.
Of course, I said Game of Thrones when he did that.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
The Mountain.
Oh,
remember
yeah.
how the Mountain killed Oberyn?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Horrible. That's a horrible way to go. And like I was like, I'm just sitting there like god damn. This I thought this was excessive, but this went off the page.
I couldn't wait for the final battle between Billy Russo and Frank Castle.
Oh yeah, at the amusement part, the merry-go-round.
Yeah, what was so crazy is like Billy was so dumb tight with his family. It was like like he had a relationship with Frank's children.
He did. Like he was basically like
he was like the cool uncle.
Yeah, essentially, he was like a brother, like the uncle, and like, and Billy Russo, he was an interesting character too because like throughout the whole series, like he was somebody who was like more well adjusted, but like you could tell like he had like a dark backstory too.
Yeah.
Like he was trying so hard to be like a William Rollins, like the suits and ties, the money, and then like there was that one scene like where he visited his mother. And who was terrified of him is like, oh, you put me in the system in foster care. Oh, look what I'm doing now, bitch.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was gonna like put the pillow over her and smother her, but no, he's like
his injector was
injected her
drug.
with drugs. Like, yeah,
I can't even tell you which one it was.
Yeah, it must have been like morphine or something. I was like, yo, I'm gonna keep you hopped up for as long as I can. I'm gonna torture you as long as you torture me. I'm like, shit, that is vindictive. And like,
and then not to mention him the way he would manipulate Madani.
Agent Dina Madani. Yeah. The fact
that they had like a sexual relationship and all that, but yeah, he kills her partner.
Yeah,
she's traumatized by that, and he's just watching her like,
yeah,
it's okay,
it's all right.
I'm there for you.
Yeah,
I'm there for you. I'm like, you dirty motherfucker.
Wow, you dirty, you slick haired son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
he was a pretty boy too. So it's like,
yeah. So which we'll get into like that's the irony of that like in a moment. But like, I also liked like the fact that like if there was that one scene where like where Billy Russo goes to Curtis's apartment because Punisher's hunting him down, and like, and even though like Billy has Curtis hostage, you could tell that like he still has respect for Curtis, and Curtis still has respect for him as like brothers in arms.
Right.
And when Frank Castle's up across the street with the sniper rifle, like you could tell like all three of them like they know the situation, but they still have that respect where it's like, yo, like
give me your word.
Like, give me your word. I'm not gonna let you get away with this. I'll stop you any way I can, but we're still brothers. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was in that scene I was tense because I was like, please don't kill Curtis, man. Please don't do him here. And when he got shot, I'm like, no. But then he survived. I'm like, yes, because he's too cool a character to kill off.
Exactly.
Too cool. And then you fast forward to the merry-go-round, the carousel where his family was killed. Yo, like, because I kept thinking to myself, Billy Russo, why does that name sound familiar? I was thinking to myself all season, like, I heard that name before. But then when the Punisher shot him, like, clean in the cheek, and he spit the bullet out, I'm like, Jigsaw. It's Jigsaw.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? He just like when he finally gets him down, it's like he just beats himself into he just beats his head into his face into the mirror like over and over. And then as the glass is like already shattered, he just like rubs his face into the shattered glass. I'm like I literally had to turn away.
Yeah.
At that moment, I'm like, oh my God, like just going back and forth, like, yo, he's really like doing this. Like,
Yeah.
he's really.
Yeah, like he's like cutting into it like it's a tough piece of steak.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was rough. But although I will say, like, I really thought that he was gonna kill him right then and there.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, so like I don't know what you thought, but I thought that kind of rang a little false, considering everything the Punisher did up to that point. Like it would have been nothing for him to like put the bullet in his head, but
Yeah, but you needed more. You needed something more dramatic. Like this is the climax. It's the climax. So he needed something more.
yeah, and plus like you can say that it's a little more complicated because they're basically like tight, like family,
Yeah.
not just like comrades on the field. So it's like I can kind of see that, but
But then he's like, I want you to look at him. He said, I want you to see this every time you look in a mirror. Because remember, he was a pretty boy.
yeah.
So every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you of what you did.
Yeah, and like, and once he undoes the bandages, like once that eventually happens, if we get a second season, he's gonna go in.
Yeah. If we don't get a second season, we got riot.
Yeah, he's gonna go certifiably insane.
Yeah.
And like, but I will say that the one part in that whole series, in that whole scene, that made me roll my eyes so hard was when Dina Madani came through. And she had this element of surprise, and friggin' Russo still turned around and shot her in the head, but she still survived. I'm like, what?
Maybe it was just a graze.
It wasn't a graze. I think it was a full on headshot. Like she should have been dead, DEAD, but she still survived a headshot. Now I was thinking, like, is this how it is?
It's possible for people to survive headshots.
It is.
Like, it's happened before.
Oh yeah, but it's very rare.
Rare, yeah.
But like I'm thinking, does this happen in the comics? But it turns out that Dina Madani is actually an original character for the show. Like she's not featured in any of the comics.
Oh really?
Yeah, like her character was fairly interesting. I mean, I like to see more of her as far as like how far she's gonna like take her mission, like how that's gonna clash against like being part of the government, and maybe she'll be a vigilante in her own right, not like the Punisher, but like maybe bend the rules a little more now that her partner's dead. I want to see more like how her character develops, because I thought that like we got the
She
seeds
was a
of
good
that.
character. She was a good addition.
She was like she definitely wasn't a weak character. Like
Right.
like there were some weak moments, like the weakest one of all is like with the headshot, but like she definitely held her own, like with the like in the warehouse scene where she led the Billy Russo's Anvil crew to the spot, and
Which ended up in her partner getting killed.
yeah. And an interesting Easter egg for that scene too was that like the producers of the show, the shotgun that she had, it was actually specifically created just for her to accommodate for her height and build.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually created
Yeah,
that shotgun for her.
she's very like small.
Yeah, so they had to make a special shotgun for her for that scene, and it worked. But yeah, I like to see more of where her character goes for sure. And but yeah, the ending is definitely interesting. And you said you haven't seen Punisher Warzone, right?
Right.
In Punisher Warzone, the main villain is Jigsaw, and he's played by Dominic West, who's in The Wire.
Okay.
And yo, you should see Punisher Warzone just for Dominic West's performance as Jigsaw, because he hams his performance is just like one big delicatessen. That's how hammy his performance is. Like it's hilarious. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's almost good. That's where his performance is at.
Pootie Tang level.
I haven't seen Pootie Tang, but
Pootie Tang is Pootie Tang is basically say no to drugs, but yet you love it.
But
it's so Pootie Tang is such a stupid movie that is so good.
Yeah, but yeah, Punisher Warzone, it's worth seeing just for Dominic West's interpretation of Jigsaw. It's interesting to say the least.
All right.
But yeah, any final thoughts on the Punisher on Netflix?
Watch it. I ain't got nothing else to say. Watch it.
Yes, watch the show. And my final word on the Punisher is that like I'll say John Bernthal is the best version.
Yeah, he's the best version of Frank Castle that we got.
Yeah, he's the best version of Frank Castle. Like so far, because if you look back at the other ones, like Dolph Lundgren,
Garbage.
total garbage, totally miscast. Thomas Jane, he didn't have the look, but he had the attitude of Frank Castle.
I can say that.
Ray Stevenson had the look and the attitude, but the movie itself was
Lackluster.
John Bernthal nails both, and the series itself is great. So everything comes together with Bernthal's version. So watch The Punisher. If you're kind of sensitive towards like violence, then definitely keep that in mind.
You're gonna be turning away a lot, but please still watch it.
Yeah, watch it with your eye peeking between your fingers. Yeah. So yes, that's The Punisher. Let us know what you think about the show. CodexPrimePodcast@gmail.com, or leave a message in the group chat or on our Facebook page. And we do have one email from our resident
supervillain,
John Haponic, who emails us.
The hell you want, John?
Subject line of his email reads: Justice League saves the day and Wonder Woman saves DC. What an epic movie! While it admittedly did not meet Wonder Woman's standards, Justice League was far better than Thor Ragnarok, aka Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. DC created another fun action film that had a comic book feel in an already oversaturated, spoiled market. I'm excited about the possibility of the Legion of Doom. I'm also surprised how much I liked Cyborg, Superman, and Flash. Lastly, Deathstroke looked incredible. Looking forward to the next few films. Always unbiased and right, John Haponic. Oh, and you'll enjoy this one. P.S.
Uh-oh.
The Avengers Infinity War trailer was a resounding meh. Yeah, I'll go see it. And while I am curious to see many characters on screen, I'm going with low expectations. Thanos looks like an awkward CGI mess. You can't say he looks any better than Steppenwolf. Hold on. Also, on principle, Victor, the whole movie will be one giant light show. Okay, John, listen. Listen, John. Your anti-Marvel bias shines through in a major way, more so than anything else you have said through email on this podcast. You mean to tell me that Thanos' CG looks just as bad as Steppenwolf? Are you kidding me, John?
You can actually see that it is Josh Brolin. Damn, Josh Brolin's gonna be kicking it. He's gonna be kicking it. He's gonna have probably the best year in acting.
Oh, yeah.
Off of two movies that's going to come out within like months of each other.
Yep. With Deadpool 2, Cable.
When is Deadpool 2 coming out?
I think February.
Oh, okay.
I think so, yeah. But yo, Thanos, I agree, like an all CG Thanos might on the surface seem a little, I don't know about this, but it looks way more detailed and way more realistic than Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf looks like they ran out of money and they had $300 million.
And they ran out of time too. That's what it was. And mind you, Steppenwolf looks like a character from a first generation launch title for the PS4. That's what he looks like from a PS4 first generation launch title cutscene.
He looks like Yoshimitsu from Tekken.
Yo, he looks like Yoshimitsu from Tekken 4.
He looks like Malbolgia from Spawn.
Damn. Yo, Steppenwolf looks marginally better than the CG characters from the 1997 Spawn movie, and that's a slight exaggeration. Thanos looks photorealistic, okay? He looks like he's actually there in the scene.
You think John's just saying this just to piss us off?
I think he is.
Okay.
I think he is because like I said, John did see the light by saying that Batman vs Superman is terrible. He agrees with us. But come on. I understand that you had fun with Justice League. I know by default it's more fun than Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman, but that's not saying much. Come on, dude. You can't look at Avengers Infinity War and say that it's meh. It's whatever. Come on. I mean, you got to give Marvel their props. This is the culmination of a studio that understands its properties, of a studio that has a long-term plan and has successfully realized that plan, okay? That's how you get things done. DC can actually learn a thing or two from Marvel.
DC's too busy trying not to be Marvel.
Exactly. Yeah. So John, please get your life. Get on the get off the DCEU train. I mean, come on. You're not being real. You're not being real with us. You're not being real with yourself. Just know that.
All right, and Afton's actually saying, "Hey, you guys were right about how soon that damn sledgehammer came through. Crazy." So she started watching. Good for you, Afton.
Good
for you.
Good.
All right. So, question of the week before we head out.
All right.
We didn't get any responses for last, for the last one, so we're not gonna get into that, unfortunately.
Okay.
But this week, name 2 superheroes that you would do a fusion with.
A fusion, like combine them into one character.
Yes.
Well,
I haven't even thought of one either.
Darkclaw is already taken.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't even think of you. It's you pretty much just say, no, I'm just not gonna do DC, Marvel and DC.
A fusion. Man, that's a really tough one. If I had to do a fusion of two superheroes or 2 comic book characters,
I would have to go with my favorites. It's hard to to picture it, but simply because they're my favorites, Goku and Spawn.
okay, what? Guess that's pretty random as hell.
It's very random. I'm just saying, those are my favorites, but I don't know. This is a hard one.
I would
Maybe
say
Punisher and Deadpool.
but that already exists. Oh, you mean like
a fusion?
Oh no. I'm actually kind of curious to see what that would be like. Actually, I would say. Okay, what did she say?
I just said Media Man and Blank Man.
You know what? I think that wins. Meteor, really?
Oh my god!
Meteor Man and Blank Man. Oh, bravo, bravo. Okay, just 2 random ones. I would say Wonder Woman and Black Widow, and I'm thinking maybe because I'm thinking of Wonder Woman, like how it took place in World War One.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe you can do a little espionage thriller. You can have Wonder Woman infiltrate some, maybe go back to Themyscira, and maybe the Russians have invaded Themyscira somehow, and then she could be a spy that kind of works for the Kremlin somehow, and you can or some Black Ops group.
Yeah.
And you can kind of make it work that way. So like a Wonder Woman, Black Widow espionage thriller type deal.
That could work. Dryden Lewis says, I refuse to watch Justice League in the theater. Zack Snyder needs to stop making comic book movies.
Facts.
He's still, it's like he's riding off a 1. It's 300. And that wasn't even a superhero movie. Well, it was a comic book, but
2, because if you count Watchmen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Red Box.
Green Goblin? That's just too much green.
Hey. You know what? I would watch that just out of principle.
You would.
Yeah, I would. Or yeah, there's a yeah. You know what? There's I'm sure there's a whole bunch that I'll probably think about after the podcast and be like, damn, I should have said that on the air. But yeah, whatever your wacky fusion ideas are, leave us a comment below or in the question of the week, or email us at codexprimepodcast@gmail.com.
She said they were born in the room.
Hey, listen, green is the color of life, okay? Get yours. So, Carl, any other thoughts and whatnot?
Oh, man, just now, thank you for tuning in. I'm still laughing at this thing. So, yeah, thank you for tuning in. You can find us on all social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Email us, codexprimepodcast@gmail.com. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and just spread the love. Share, subscribe, and there's great things on the horizon. So you may want to stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, and as always, we thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. SoundCloud, YouTube.